Hey, happy Friday, good people. Happy Friday, everyone. I am ready to get into it. So, listen, where I'm teaching today, five things you need to stop doing if you are an entrepreneur. Now, entrepreneur in any realm, y'all know that I am Coach Kelly J. I am the coach's coach. I teach the people that reach the people, but I also primarily I coach coaches, but I coach outside of the coaching industry entrepreneurs. All right. So this is what I see. Like I have literally over 1,000 clients inside of the three different programs that we run within my brand. And this is what I want to share with you. Wait a minute. Let me get my chat up here. Let me get my comments up here. Get my comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from. This is what I want to share with you is five things that I want you to stop doing if you're an entrepreneur. But let me give you the caveat. The caveat is today it's going to be tough love. Let me know in the chat. Is it okay if it's tough love? It's going to be tough love today. I got to give it to you though, because I'm seeing a lot of patterns going on and we want to nix those in the bud so that hey, from New York, let's nick those in the bud so it's not a thing. All right. So, number one, we're not going to be long today, 10 or 15 minutes at most, but I got to share these things with you. One is stop letting tech have its way with you. Stop letting it beat you up. Tech is hard. I'm not good at social media. Technology is hard. I've never had a website. Oh, I don't know how to do this. None of us were born knowing how to do these things. Remember, I said tough love, right? You have to change your perspective. I want you, when you, as an entrepreneur, it's different from working for someone else. You're working for yourself. So when you're working for yourself, you cannot allow yourself to go into the space and into the mindset to let things take you over, or else you won't last in this business. You won't last going down the entrepreneur lane. So I want you to step out of the perception that tech is hard. Nobody was born knowing how to work tech. Amen. So tech is not hard. It is a challenge, yes, but it's only a challenge until you learn it. Learn the basics of it, learn how to navigate it, whether it's learning Instagram, whether it's learning Facebook, LinkedIn, whether it's learning how to put together your website, learning to set up emails in advance, learning text technology, learning how to put together landing pages, whatever the things are, you have to lean in as an entrepreneur. You've got to adapt that mindset. You've got to lean into, okay, no, I don't know how to do this, but I've chosen, right? I've chosen to be an entrepreneur. So I'm going to take everything that comes with it, not just the good. People look at, the people with the Lamborghinis and the big houses and the traveling and on yachts and on this and that. That's all fine, well, and good. But they're not showing you the back end of the mindset shifts, right? The mindset shifts that they had to make in order to make those other things possible. Let me know in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. So take on the challenge, in that take it on as a challenge, but that's not going to overcome you. And this is the way I like to look at it. Technology, all those things, it doesn't have a heartbeat. It doesn't have a brain. So we rule it. It doesn't rule us. So say it with me right now in the chat. I control technology. Technology does not control me. Say it in the chat. I control technology. Technology does not control me. You have to go in with that mindset. And when you come to a challenge, you have to remember to say, I control technology and technology doesn't control me. You shift in that perception, it gives you a different, what's the word I'm thinking of? Thank you for writing it in the chat. The word that I'm thinking of, it gives you like a new lens. Like if you go into it with that mindset that, yes, it will be a challenge. Yes, I can do hard things. Then when it comes to something you can't figure out, You'll give yourself, yes, Antoine, more grace. You'll give yourself a different perspective. You'll give yourself more grace, and you won't find yourself overwhelmed, or at least as overwhelmed or as anxious, and you'll push past it. And when you tell your subconscious that, you go about things in a different way. I'm trying to get you a different result. All right. Number two, because I say we're not going to be long. Number two, 5 things that you have to stop doing as an entrepreneur. Number 2 is time. Well, I don't have time. Telling yourself, I don't have time. Well, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. I still work a full-time job. There is a season as an entrepreneur where you are working a full-time job, but you're building your side hustle. But the point is for you to build that side hustle. I mean, the point is for you to be able to go full-time in that side hustle. But there is a season. Somebody say season in the chat. There is a season where you are working that full-time job and you are starting and or growing and or scaling your business, that there is overlap. I should do it like this. There is overlap where you're working the full-time job and you have that side gig. So this middle piece right here where they overlap, if you allow that season of your life to take you out, it will be very difficult for you to succeed. Now, let me give you the deeper level of it. It will be very difficult for you to show God that you can handle what He has given you. Because the biblical principle, y'all know I'm a God girl, the biblical principle there is what you will do with the little is what you will do with the much. So we can apply that to so many different things. But if God is testing you and giving you a little friction, a little of this and a little of that that is outside of your norm, and you let it take you out, then He's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, she's not ready for this yet. He's not ready for this yet. And so He'll lighten the load and you'll feel the reprieve, but now you're stagnant. Now you're in the same place and you're praying for increase. Yes, I see you in the chat. You're praying for increase. You're praying for more. But when He tries to give you more, come on, y'all. When He tries to give you more, you're overwhelmed. You're out of time. Look, I'm mixing them up. I shouldn't say that. Okay, let me stay in order because I have one for overwhelmed. Well, let me just mix those 2 together. We'll mix 2 and 3 together. There was 5. So number 2 was time. You're out of time. My point with time is sometimes when you have that overlap, or most often when you have that overlap of the old season, meaning you're still working that job, that full-time job, and the new season, meaning you've started that side hustle and you don't have as much free time as you used to, sometimes you're going to have to wake up earlier. You're going to have to stay up later. You're going to have to work your lunch break instead of hanging out at the water cooler or running out to TJ Maxx or Target during lunch. You're going to have to buckle down on the time that you do have. And so that early morning before work and that early morning after work shouldn't be spent on scrolling and consuming. It should be spent on studying online coaching programs or whatever it is you're into and producing. So shift more into the production column than the consumption column. Amen. And so the other thing you want to look at too there is you have to learn boundaries. We're talking time. You've got to learn, you've got to put boundaries in place and know. I won't go so far as, how the memes used to say, no is a complete answer, because let's be honest, you guys, that's just rude to just say, when somebody asks you something, you say no. Take it down a notch, but it still results in the same thing, which is that is, I'm not available to do that this time. I can help you think of who else might can do it or how else you might be able to get it done. But I'm focusing on XYZ right now. I'm focusing on me. I'm trying to grow my brand. I know we used to meet out on Wednesdays for XYZ 123. I know we used to meet out on Saturday nights, the first of the month for girls' night. Whatever the thing is, Let the people in your circle know that you are buckling down on a thing so you can get where you're trying to go. They might have an attitude at first. I get that. But after a while, when they see you're not letting up, not only will you be able to, not only will you feel better about it, let's be honest, but you might even become contagious. And that's not even in my notes that I have down here. You might even become contagious. You might, listen up, listen to this. You might become the person in your community that leads everyone else into the promised land. Have you ever thought about that? But in order to do that, you have to exhibit those leadership qualities in that we're talking time right now. I don't have, I can't do that. Right. So stop with the I don't have time. Like you're in a coaching program. It's like, oh, well, I don't have time. Time doesn't permit. Time does permit. It's priorities. It's priorities. When I was working for the government and I'd started my little side gig, I didn't start it to leave. I didn't know that I was gonna leave, but when I started that side gig solely as a hobby and it took off as a business and I converted it into a business, there was a season, and this season was for a minute. There was a season where I had to take a vacation day on a Friday or take a vacation day on a Monday. Like if I had too many orders, it was an online brick and mortar situation. And if I had too many orders, or if I had an event that I needed to go to, and that event I needed to be there early on Saturday, like I would eat up I was willing to. Are you willing to? Let me know in the chat. Are you willing to go through a season where it doesn't look like your normal life, but you realize energetically and decision wise that you are building something great? When you're building something great, it doesn't look like the life that you had where you get up and you do all your stuff, you go to work, you come home, you have the rest of the evening, Netflix and chill. No, when you go into that entrepreneur space, life is different. So you have to navigate different. You have to change your expectations. I think part of the issue here, now that we're talking about it, come on, y'all, now that we're talking about it, I think part of the issue is that as you're navigating into the space of entrepreneurship, you haven't shifted, you haven't intentionally, that's the word I'm looking for. You haven't intentionally shifted your expectation from what your life was to what your life is now and is becoming now. From a whole energetic perspective, like telling yourself, you have to tell yourself, I'm going to do some things that are outside of my norm. I'm going to do some things that don't come natural to me because I've never done them before. That's the technology. I'm going to have to do some things that mean I have to shut out other things like weekend plans, like girls trip, like those things. Like I'm going to have to wake up earlier. I'm going to have to go to sleep later. There is an overlap period that you have to be willing to have. Are you willing? I know you're able. I could say willing and able, but I'm going to leave out the able. You're able to once you make the decision. Are you willing to trade your old life for the new life that you want, that you've been praying for, that the good Lord says that you can have? Are you willing to trade one for the other? You say yes energetically. You say yes with your mouth. You say, yes, I'm willing to trade this for that. But I bet your bottom dollar, your trade-off is what you're seeing as the positives. But what my pastor says, it was just a couple months ago, he preached a sermon. And it was this: more of anything is more of everything. Let me explain. And I'm just getting way off track here with my notes. More of anything is more of everything. More of anything is more of everything. So we look at the, hey, Tiffany, Coach Tiffany, she's in one of my coaching programs. Let the people know it's fire over the coaching programs, right? more of anything is more of everything. What that means is we get into the entrepreneurship game. We want to have more time freedom. We want to have more increased revenue. We want to have more options in life. Like we want to create this great life, but more of anything is more of everything. So as you're getting those things that you want that are more, there's also those other things that come with it, like learning new things that you didn't know, that you don't know how to do. So you can't in real life, you can't ask for, hey Krissa, she said she needed this today. I'm here for it. You can't have more of it's not, let's just say it's not even a thing. Can we just say that it's not a thing to, even if you consciously think about it, it's not a thing to think that you can get more of all the good stuff and there's some stuff that's a challenge that comes with it. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work where, oh, give me the overflow, give me the overflow, give me the increase that I've been paying for. Yes, you can have increase, but there's going to be challenge along the way. You want one without the other. Hopefully I'm setting somebody free today that you were thinking, well, wait a minute, I didn't want all this. Well, do you want any of it? Do you want any of it? So, all right, number two. I mixed in number 2 and 3. Number 1 was tech is not hard. It's a challenge until you decide to lean in, learn it, and stop allowing it to take you out. It does not have a brain. Tech does not have a heartbeat. It does not control you. You control it. That was number 1. Number 2 was supposed to be time. Intentionally put boundaries in place. And then number 3 was supposed to be you're not overwhelmed, but I started mixing number 2 with number 3. So let's go deeper into number 3, the overwhelm. You're not overwhelmed. You're in your sowing season for a harvest season. When we want more, when we want the increase, we're typically only thinking of the harvest season. Like, oh yeah, Lord, bless me, bless me. We're thinking of the harvest season. But the principle, the biblical, I keep it right here on my desk. The biblical principle is in order for there to be a harvest season, there has to have previously been a season sown or seasons sown. Now, we don't even have time to even get into that because I said season or seasons. Some of y'all think it's a season. Sometimes there's back-to-back seasons of sowing because depending on the harvest that you're wanting to reap and the assignment on your life, somebody type assignment in the chat, what you're trying to reap and the assignment on your life, sometimes what you thought was a season, singular, is seasons, because maybe in one season you had to learn patience. That next season you had to learn trust. That next season you had to learn perseverance. Like, so sometimes that's what you thought was a season ends up being seasons. Hello, right? Hello. And then you wane because you were on your timing. Not God's timing. Good morning, Juanita. Good morning. Okay. So you're not overwhelmed. You're in a sowing season. So every time you allow yourself moving forward from today, anytime you feel like, oh, I'm just so overwhelmed, like entrepreneurs love that word, or fairly new entrepreneurs, I should say, fairly new entrepreneurs, as you get more grown, as you get more grown in your entrepreneur journey, you'll stop saying stuff like that because as you get more grown in your entrepreneur journey, you'll learn that overwhelm is not overwhelm, it's opportunity. It's opportunity. So anytime you get overwhelmed as a seasoned entrepreneur, you're like, look and say, what is the opportunity here? I'm a problem solver. What problem do I need to solve? Like as a seasoned entrepreneur, you want to always be looking at what's the problem here? What problem do I need to solve? Whether that problem is for somebody else, or that problem is for your organization, or that problem is for you. Like, get rid of the word overwhelm. Do away with it. Don't let it be a thing. See overwhelm, the whole concept, the whole word overwhelm. See it as like the enemy. It is the devil. Like, see it, oust it. Even claiming the overwhelm is so low vibrational, if you will. Stop the madness with I'm so overwhelmed. Share this out if it's blessing you. Stop that madness with, oh, I'm just so overwhelmed. Stop it. Don't let it be a thing. Because when you sit and you claim that overwhelm, you're letting the good Lord know he has put too much on you. And if you're letting him know verbally and energetically that he has put too much on you, and he backs up, then now you've blocked the whole blessing that you've been praying for. And you didn't even know before now that those two things were connected. Let me know in the chat. You didn't even know before now, and y'all are getting me off topic. You didn't even know before now that those two things were connected. Right? Right? All right, number four. I'm scared, Coach Kelly. I'm scared. I want to do such and such and such. I want to start my coaching business, or I want to invest in this coaching program. I want to do this. I want it, no matter what. I want to write the book. I want to move across town, across the country. I want to go on that adventure. I want to do this. I want to do that. But I'm scared. Y'all, that one really gets me. Can you tell? That one gets me because it's something that has become like a default. Not more than I'm overwhelmed, but I'm overwhelmed. It's something that has, and now let me back up. Let me be clear. These are all things that I had to overcome as an entrepreneur on my journey. In coaching over 12,000 people in the space, I've come to the point where I've recognized the patterns that I once had and the patterns that I see over and over and over and over and over and over and over in people. And those are the things that I want to address, because I want to help you break free from those things. Like, these are the things that are holding you back from your next level. And they simply take a shift in perspective. They simply take you putting on a new pair of glasses to see things differently. Because when you put on a new pair of glasses and you allow yourself to see things differently, then your life will change, because your energy changes, your belief changes, your attitude, come on, attitude, your disposition, the way you posture yourself in your life. And I'm not talking about physical posture. I'm talking about your whole energetic posture. What you're emitting out into the world changes because your perspective changes. Yes, it's not easy, but it's necessary. Exactly. We're talking about, and maybe I should have, put something in the title about this, but what we're really talking about is the maturity of entrepreneurship. Right? It's not even a time frame. I could say new entrepreneurs, but you could be an entrepreneur for 3 years, but you've never had this particular conversation with someone to even identify these things and commit to yourself, to your journey, to your calling, to your whole purpose in life, that you're not going to be this person that says tech is too hard. You're not going to be this person that is constantly overwhelmed. You're not going to be this person that says, I don't have time. You're not going to be this person that when they have to step into an area where it's unfamiliar, and then they say I'm fearful. You're not going to be this person that is constantly walking onto the struggle bus. You're not going to be this person that constantly says I'm stuck. That's maturity of entrepreneurship. And that's what I want for you. Because when you become mature, man, I should have named this something different. When you step into the maturity of entrepreneurship, your entire existence changes because you've put on a new pair of glasses. You're looking at situations that come your way through a completely different lens. Are you with me? And I want to invite you to switch your lens today. I want to invite you to put on a new pair of glasses starting today. Okay. I know I got way off topic, you guys. I know I got way off topic. So let me hit number 5. You're not struggling and stuck. You're not struggling and stuck. You've just not intentionally graduated from the land of indecisiveness. You're not stuck. You've not been intentional. You're telling yourself you're stuck, and that's the only thing that makes it true. You're telling yourself you're struggling. Oh, well, I'm struggling. It's a choice. Struggle is a choice. That's what I tell my clients in my community. Struggle is a choice. Stop saying that. I told you it was going to be tough love today, right? Stop saying that. I'm struggling with, or I'm stuck. Oust that. The minute you feel struggle, I want you to ask yourself, what do I need to get out of feeling this way? What do I need? Who do I need to talk to? What lesson do I need to watch? What community do I need to be in? What needs to happen for me to get out of that struggle and that overwhelm? Get off of the struggle bus. Intentionally graduate from indecisiveness of making a decision. When you're struggling, you're stuck, it simply means you haven't made a decision on something. Oh, I'm struggling to figure out my website. Well, you haven't decided to pay somebody to just do it. I'm struggling to get paid clients. Well, you haven't decided to up your training on getting paid clients. I'm struggling. Let me touch on the financial one in a minute. Y'all gonna be mad at me, but here we are. I'm struggling to be able to afford to invest in the coaching program that I really want to get into. But you go to Starbucks every day. Can we just put it all out there? But that Target run where you were just going to pick up toothpaste, now you're $96 later. If you start adding up those little things, it's not that you can't afford it, it's that you haven't prioritized the call on your life. Let me be very clear. When you have a calling on your life, it might not look like it. Heavy on the might not look like it. Heavy on that might, because it is so. When you can sit and say you have a call on your life, there is no such thing as not having the resources to fulfill it. That is not a thing. You made it a thing. You made it a thing. There's no such thing as I want to do this, but I don't have the resources. What do you mean there's no such thing? I mean, there's no such thing. I mean, there's always a way to figure out what you know you need to do. You cannot say, now I'm not talking about something you want to do. I'm talking about when there's a call on your life. That's different, because in your heart of hearts, if you know beyond a shadow of a doubt. Now, I'm not talking about, well, I want to do this or I want to go there. I'm not talking about want. Want is completely different from having a calling on your life. Who knows what I'm talking about? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. If you can sit and say there's a call on your life, there is no universe in which there's not a way that it can't be figured out on how to do it. There is no universe in which because those things don't exist. There's no such thing. Now let me back up. Y'all know what I'm talking about when I say calling. There's only one being that has the authority to call you, for you to become called, for you to say, I'm called to do this work. I hear it all the time. I'm called. That is different. That is vastly different from, I was thinking about doing this, or I was thinking about doing that. That is different than called. Called is called. Called in chat. Called in capital letters. If you're somebody who's called, type, I'm called. And that's not everyone. That is not everyone. That's different. Called and want to. Two different things. Let me be very clear. For y'all go trying to cancel me. Well, cancel me if you want. I'm called, right? I know what my assignment is. But if you can sit and say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, you are called to do a thing, whatever that thing is. I'm not just talking about joining a coaching program. If you are called to move across the country, if you are called to birth that book, if you are called to do a thing, there is no such thing that can counter that. There is no such thing that can absorb that. If you're called, that is bigger than anything else. Everything else is down here. If you're called, that's bigger than anything else. No matter what it looks like. No matter what it looks like. And y'all got me way off of track. This whole thing was, this whole live stream, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it over on Facebook so they can enjoy it too. Might even put it in a couple of my groups or in my coaching program, because even though I got off track, I covered some things that people need to hear. The point of this live stream was 5 things that entrepreneurs need to stop doing. So let me recap. Tech is hard. No, tech is not hard. Tech is a challenge until you figure it out. Number 2, I don't have time. You do have time. You need to intentionally put boundaries in place and be able to have soft conversations with people, soft but hard conversations that let people know I have a different focus right now. I'm doing something different. Put some intentionality around what you're doing. Okay. 3 was, I'm overwhelmed. You're not overwhelmed. Stop claiming that. You're not overwhelmed. You're in a sowing season. In your mind, you want to be in a harvest season. The harvest season doesn't come until you've sowed. And you might be somebody who you have such a large overflowing harvest season that your sowing season is longer. If you want a big garden, then it's going to take longer to build that garden. Right? Number 4 was, I'm scared. You're not scared. There's no imminent danger. If there was a snake over there and it was coming to get me, that's imminent danger. If my car is on the end of a bridge and I'm about to fall off, that's imminent danger. That's fear. But don't be the person that's like, I'm scared and there's no imminent danger. When you're scared, when you're fearful and there's no imminent danger, that simply means you've made up a story in your mind. Okay. And number 5 was, I'm struggling. Get off the struggle bus. Just like you walked up those struggle bus steps, walk back down those struggle bus steps, and intentionally graduate into the land of decisiveness. Meaning, when you're struggling, when you feel like you're struggling with something, make a decision. Exercise that muscle of making decisions and making them fast. And that will put you out of that struggle because you've gone on to the next thing. Y'all, I said this was going to be 10 minutes. We are at 35 minutes, which is why I don't do a lot of live streams, because sometimes I go off the rails. It's good. It gets good when I go off the rails, but sometimes I go off the rails. So it's been an honor to serve you today, you guys. If there's any questions that I can answer for you, I want you to text me or my team. One of us will get to it. The number is 404-609-0960, 404-609-0960. If we can be of any service to you, you have any questions, text us and we'll see how you can get you to where you want to go further, faster. Bye, y'all.